I've never really been a Doom guy. I've just never gotten into those types of games that soak you in endless amounts of blood, explosions, and music that I can only describe as impending violence. It just simply wasn't my thing. Well, until now. Today I'm gonna be breaking those boundaries and finally feeling what it's like to have the devil tremble when a nice guy loses his temper. Back in the summer of 2023, for a super low price of 25 bucks, I got Doom 1993 through Eternal, which I thought was a complete steal, but then a buddy of mine tells me that you can apparently load and play every single Doom game for free on a program called Easy Doom, which I lacked the cognitive ability to even dare grasp the understanding of, and therefore have justified my reasoning as to why I will never use such a cheapo piece of crapware. Before right now, have I played, let alone opened, or installed any of the games? No, for some reason I've just been ignoring them all, letting them rot in my Steam library for about a year until the perfect moment arises and I get my bi-yearly dose of bloodshed covered for me in an instant. So, before I hop into it, I know that this isn't every Doom game in the history of all time, so that's the clickbait checked off, as the bundle I got was missing stuff like Final Doom, Mighty Doom, and a bunch of Doom Eternal DLC packs, I think, and whatever else is out there. But it's every Doom game to most, and if you want complete honesty, I don't fucking know the difference between Doom 3, and Doom 3 just yet, but I'll get there eventually. Oh yeah, I'm also going to be ranking these Doom games on a tier list ranging from F to S tier, and reviewing them as I go. Be warned though, I won't be playing through the entirety of these games to gather my opinions, so some things I say might just be complete untruths, or maybe I should have just kept going to see a certain issue with that game got fixed, or something like that. So maybe in a follow-up video, if you guys want one after 300 years, I'll do a quick re-ranking after a full playthrough of all of them. But from what I know, Doom is a lot of the same premise tossed into different levels of graphics, mechanics, and most importantly, violence. Well, my intro time here is up, and the sun is about to explode, and I still haven't completed my bucket list. My more knowledgeable clone will get this big rant started with Doom 1993. This is it? This is the game that parents were so afraid of their children replicating in real life that they closed down entire school districts? It's so simple and nice looking. You can't look up or down, there's no cutscenes to tell you what's going on, just drops you into the game and expects you to know exactly what you're doing off the bat. All the levels I've played so far are super confusing and took me a bit to actually get the layout of, and it wasn't until late level 2 when I realized that I could actually run. What even is the point of running? You're fast as hell either way, bee-hopping through room after room, slaughtering these gun guys and poop demons. I love how straight to the point this game is. I can see now why everyone wants this game to run on pregnancy tests, calculators, and potatoes. It's super low tech, but pretty damn fun. I clearly haven't reached the real deep meat of the game yet, but I can tell it's going to be generally all the same throughout. But a good kind of same. The same that can span through an entire series. The same that can define a genre. There's only about 9 levels, and I got through about 3 in an hour. And I was taking the scenic route, so I expected to take longer. I didn't just want to rush through what the internet calls perfection, and for this short little review of Doom 1993, I'm gonna put this classic at a high A tier. It has its flaws, like the lack of instruction, but hey, I could just be Emmett from the Lego Movie in a world of master builders. Doom already has my heart. Doom 2 is pretty much the exact same as its older brother, but I feel like they perfected the formula in this one. Same spiel, too. It drops you in, no instruction. Can't look up, can't look down. It even has enemies in the first room of the first level. I mean, yeah, they're facing away from you, but still, that's something you really don't see in any games anymore. Doom 2 just kinda knew that everyone was gonna get what was going on from the get-go. I'm also a big fan of the secret chainsaw, immediately available to you from the start by turning to the left. And for what Doom 2 is, in a sense. It's not a direct upgrade to Doom, but it's quite literally Doom, the second. As I've said, not many games do that anymore. In fact, I don't think any games do that at all, other than Doom. At least, from my knowledge. Most games that have sequels really try to improve upon things that made the first one heavily flawed, sometimes being successful, other times ruining the atmosphere or physics that the first one had perfected. Doom and Doom 2 are one and the same, but very clearly different. And it still contains every bit of charm and pixelated violence that the first Doom had and more. It's almost as if they made Doom 2 as a way to fit more levels into the game, but they ran out of space or something. I'm also going to give this one a solid high A tier as well, but just above Doom 1. And bonus points for the secret chainsaw, immediately available to you from the start by turning to the left. Oh yeah, if you're wondering how I found the chainsaw immediately, despite being a quote-unquote clueless gamer, I actually recorded some footage of the first level of Doom 2 a while ago, but it got corrupted. So I just recorded some new footage recently. And a few more little remarks I must make about Doom 2. What's with this giddy-ass music? Yeah, I have a meeting on floor 4, room 4B, elevator open, I've got places to be. This is not what I picture myself listening to when slaughtering the hell soldiers of war. Is this what the pyro hears when chopping people up and blasting them with their flamethrower? It sounds like Baldi's Basics music. It sounds like the music you'd hear in my head as I actively problem solve my way through this brown brick house. Oh, one more thing. I'm also playing all of these games on the second hardest difficulty, which no, that will not impact my score. I may be doing a review of all the Doom games, but I'm no prissy-ass, pompous, pussy bitch game journalist that gives low ratings because their little fingies get tired from all the button pressing. No, we will never forget that video, Cuphead tutorial game critic guy. The reason I mention the difficulty is because rooms like this tend to pop up a lot and scare me. The ones filled with enemies. My shotgun is strong, yes, but not fast enough to keep up with the high damage bad guys. I kinda like that. It just dumps you in and wants you to cause as much mayhem as possible. And like I mentioned, Doom 2 feels more like a continuation of Doom 1 with some much needed upgrades and a bit better level design. If you were to put Doom 1 and Doom 2 in a room and told me to differentiate between them, somehow I think I'd actually be able to. There's just a certain otherworldly spark about Doom 2 that makes Doom 1 look like a semi-identical twin. No more loopholes and metaphors. Let's just move on to Doom 3, which I know is not technically the next actual Doom game in the franchise, but I'm going by number order here today on this fine day in hell. It was also the first modern Doom game, and was a pretty good setup for the future games ahead. Well, trying to open and play Doom 3, for some reason, in order to play the game that I purchased with my own money, it said I needed a CD key, whatever the fuck that is, to even open the game. So after about 20 minutes of figuring that bullshit out, I can finally play the first modern 3D Doom game in the mainline series. And wow, was that a huge change in quality. Let me just shrink that down for you so you can all see it a bit better. And no, I didn't play the game like this. I actually played it on a stretch res monitor, but my recording software saw in its own original tiny glory. But hey, enough of that jibber jabber. Finally, some story! Our beloved bunny-loving big-boobied bastard Doom guy is brought to Mars as a new hiree Marine. I kinda love the setting and mood of this game, especially how real the people feel when you talk to them.
Excuse me.
Or listen to their back-and-forth banter.
Did you hear what Carter said?
What?
He said that he saw some strange creatures or something down in Delta. He said it wasn't human.
What?
Typical Doom shenanigans occur as shit goes haywire, everything crashes and burns, and you are left to defeat the demons from hell on your own, as well as some mind-controlled freaks. I accidentally started killing people who were probably on my side, completely by accident, but I think that's the game giving me an insatiable bloodlust, as well as just fear clicking whenever I see something pop up on my screen. And because the game has zero fucking light anywhere, and I feel like I'm walking in the darkness one half the time, and only having my vision return once I shoot some poor motherfucker straight into a pile of bones during the other half. I do like how in this game, you shoot people so dead that they turn directly into a skeleton. All the meat just falls right off the bones, like how they serve turkey legs at a black-owned deli by some guy that looks like Santa Claus. Anywho, this one reminds me a bit of early day Resident Evil, which is another series I've yet to play, but my girlfriend has infinite knowledge of. It's dark, it's grungy, and it's kinda scary at times, and it's such a 2004 game. I can see myself at age -1 playing this on a PlayStation 2 in a dingy room while The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars is playing on my handheld radio nearby. What's funny about everything I said is, The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars didn't release until 2005, the third Doom video game wasn't even on the PS2, and I've never even owned a PlayStation in my entire life. So the entire thing I just said there was a complete fucking lie, and I don't know why I even said it. Anyways, Doom 3 wasn't meant to be seen in modern-day 4K quality, that's for sure. It reminds me of one of those walk-in roller coaster shooters that you'd see at arcades that have you using a big real-life version of whatever weapon the character's holding. I'll just call it the Immersifier 3000. You know, I've always said that I'm not the biggest fan of dark games. Not like dark as in thematically, but visually lacking games. Hence why I couldn't really get into Resident Evil or Silent Hill that much. I do just love knowing what I'm doing and where I'm going, but whenever a game gives me the option of adjust your brightness until you can barely see the icon, I ignore that shit and turn that all the way up half the time. I know that can ruin the immersion and you're probably all mad at me, but I can't see! I can't see! Something I've noticed with the Doom series so far is that there's generally no instruction anywhere you go. I hate to keep bringing it up as if it's some opinion-altering issue, but it just gets a bit tiring sometimes. I do not want a giant lime green neon buzzing arrow sign pointing me in every direction, but at the same time, I'd like to be able to find the right places to go in due time. It took me 7 minutes to beat one level in Doom 2, all because I didn't realize that a gate could be opened by hand. I mean, come on, it looked like one of those you cannot pass type gates, okay? I know I'm stupid. Doom 3 is not the beginning of Doom's 3D era of games, but I'm still gonna be a bit generous with my rating and give it a very high C tier. I saw myself getting jump scared at every corner, and the only reason I shot enemies was because I kept jolting and instinctively clicking like I mentioned earlier, even though I'm the one with the big fucking guns. And I'd say you're pretty safe when you got such big weaponry. Another glaring issue that only I seem to be facing is looping around the same 2 and 3 places back and forth. That may or may not be because my father is Roronoa Zoro from One Piece, and he's given me the genetic inability to know where the fuck I'm going, ever. Anyways, the shooting mechanics are as satisfying as before, and being able to actually aim up and down is nice, but there's just something missing about Doom 3. Well, we'll have to see if Doom 3, and its sequel, Doom 3, can one-up Doom 3's overall quality. For the expansion of Doom 3 BFG's review, I decided to mash Doom 3 BFG and Doom 3 Resurrection of Evil expansion packs into one, since apparently they ended up coming together anyways, and an entirely new Steam game was not needed to launch the DLC. And just from opening it, I seem to have hopped into something that I shouldn't really know about yet, considering I haven't even completed the main story of regular Doom 3. But then again, who would have thunk that the shaky-voiced scientist obsessed with his work and has one of them non-working evil eyes turned out to be evil. Although sadly, I'm gonna have to be frank and say that this version of Doom 3 is slightly higher quality than its base, but it's a bit jank compared to OG. Maybe it's the lack of a flashlight that I needed constantly in Doom 3, because even at full brightness, the game was very dark. Or, it could be that my weapons also feel like I'm shooting snowballs at the enemies. It could also once again be that it's so fucking dark in here! Resurrection of Evil and BFG is just Doom 3 but slightly nerfed. The quality and overall range of movement has improved, nothing game-changing or score-altering, but it's enough of a difference to throw me off a little bit when I first got in. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to say about it. The grabber was really fun. It reminded me of Gary's mod in Half-Life. You know what? I'm gonna give it an extra point just for the grabber. And I love how you could just throw those skull enemies around and insta-kill them, and throw the fireballs back at those demons. The level of early game catastrophes and planet-wide chaos remains the same as Doom 3, and while BFG/Resurrection of Evil aimed to upgrade some mechanics, they improved with some, like I said, but also unintentionally made it feel just the slightest bit off. I still had some fun though. It's like when you poured glue on your hand as a kid, and wait for it to dry so you could peel it off. That's how this game feels. What I wish it had more of, though, is ammo. In the first couple games, as well as Doom 3, ammo was very plentiful. What's the point of being the guy with the big guns without all the ammo? It's like a sack without its balls. Anyhaps, I'm giving these two combined a low B tier, mainly because of the aim to improve upon their previous iteration and extend the story further. I kinda think that BFG was meant to be a graphics update, as well as a hub to store all the DLCs in one big fucking package. To conclude, these additions pack a bunch more content into the game and make it look smoother, but it's still a tad bit lackluster compared to its 16-bit predecessors. On to the game that came before this, but I'm putting it later in the list because I'm an asshole, Doom 64. Wow, that intro alone just brought up my score by a lot. Good lord, imagine being like 6 in 1997, and Grandpa just bought you this new video game for your cool new console, and watching that all play and unfold. The giant battlefield level looking place turning into the Doom logo? Count me the fuck in! And as I've stated, I may have played these in a bit of a reverse order, but I just wanted to get these number Dooms out of the way before getting into this one and the future Doom games. Doom 64 is just what I've been missing. A great rebound to the classic Doom movement, mechanics, and enemies. It's the same exact concept turned into an N64 game. I had a blast, even though I struggled for 20 minutes on the second level because I had no clear indication of where the hell I was going or what the hell I was doing, and ended up almost meeting my fate via a big crusher trap in the end. The atmosphere is super eerie, and the graphics, lighting, and low poly aesthetic remind me a lot of Sonic Adventure 2. The specific area in one level got me completely mesmerized. I don't know why. I just didn't expect it from a Doom game. Doom 64 gives me a feeling of pure bliss. I know it's a bit concerning that the game where the big meat beasts burst into chunks of all new 3D technology bits give me the feeling of soul fulfillment, but I don't know, it's so nice. It feels like this was missing from my early childhood, and I finally found it after all this time. But this review is not just about vibes. I think Doom 64 would be perfect as Doom 3, even though Doom 3, and Doom 3 take Doom 3's place as Doom 3, despite Doom 64 technically being Doom 3, by the way. In fact, it came out almost directly after the second game. Only 3 years! Doom 64 is so great. It's the exact same premise as Doom 1 and 2, and is a good introduction to the 3D era of Doom, even though the first and second games had some 3D elements like the stages. But for some reason, the Doom 1 and Doom 2 3D graphics don't really remind me of 3D. It looks like one of those trompe-l'œil type things, a trick of the eye. Like how in old games, they would make you think that something's 3D, when in reality it's just a rotating flat plane. Like how Geometry Dash creators would use these tactics to make their levels look three-dimensional as well. Any whatevers, Doom 64 is going on a very generously high B tier, just below A tier. And why is that? Doom 64 could have been what Doom 1 and 2 were probably aiming for in terms of a threequel, which, you know, like I said, it technically is Doom 3. Doom 64 to me is the developers still hugging that hype train very close and releasing more Doom as fast as they can for the eager fans wanting more out of these short yet satisfactory games. And the N64 was the most recent console at this point, I think. So what the hell, make more Doom. Be my guest. Although as most N64 games go, they're loads of fun, halted only really by technical limitations. Up next, there's a big time skip and an even bigger jump in quality. Doom. 2016. Well, we finally made it to the final 2 Doom games that I managed to purchase for a low price of $25 on Steam. Doom. Not to be confused with Doom. This one came out in 2016. Anima whatsits. How does one go from Doom 3 to this? Holy crap. Now, I know there were probably many in-betweens from Doom 3 to Doom 2016, but for the love of Christ, I don't know any of them, and if you guys want to yell at me in the comments, go ahead. Like I said in the beginning, if you want me to do more Doom game reviews, I really will. I'm not ignoring these other Doom games, I just don't know about any others that actually exist, or are available to me on PC. In Doom 2016, right off the bat in the first level, as per usual, they have perfected the Doom 3 Doomula here. It's 3D, you can look up and down, and you got the whole FPS package deal. The addition of a new move, the Glory Kill, is fucking phenomenal and a great addition to the Doom series. It's really what it needed at this point. Pretty much everything about this game is so satisfying and perfect, except for one thing. I don't know if this is just my nitpicky ass, but the movement's a little bit clunky when I'm trying to strafe side to side. I promise I'm not that bad at video games, but I don't know, it just feels weird, that's all. In fact, I think it's my own fault, since I've only been playing Doom games for 2 days in a row now, and this one just feels much different, considering it's, futuristic? I don't know. It's new. The music, too. Holy shit. The music really cemented itself. This is Doom music. Not, whatever that is. The arena-style gameplay, rather than the room-by-room gameplay of the previous games, the upgrades, the weapon mods, the fact that the first level is actually a breeze, enemy AI is fantastic, trying to get strategic shooting points from the corners and the tops, and finally, the introduction of a map. Oh my fucking god, a map! I know what I'm doing and where I'm going now! Doom 2016 has got to be one of the best Doom games I've ever played. I know it seems a bit unfair because, oh, boo-hoo, they didn't have this type of technology back in the day. Well, maybe, loyal viewers. That lack of proper engineering is what was holding them back from making this beautifully gory piece of art. I love how every Doom game shares the same theme. You are not the one in the ring with the enemies are in the ring with you. The kills are quick, They usually turn into mush by the second or third shot from whatever weapon you're using. God, I love this game so much. Gotta be one of my all-time favorites so far. And now that I think about it, this list is probably super generic and predictable, but these are my genuine personal opinions. I did no pre-research or any reviews of anyone else's personal rankings on the Doom games before making this video. I just really think that this era of Doom is going to outclass the originals, as great as they are. It must have been really hard perfecting this Doomula from the semi-dumpster fire of a game that Doom 3, and Doom 3 were. It's like Doom evolved from this perfect golden goose to a really ugly duck back into a beautiful elderly diamond swan. It's like an apology from the devs almost. We needed Doom 2016. I'm really glad that all those news stories back in the day didn't stop the developers from making Doom games, despite the reputation it had. In fact, the reason we probably have that new Doom game coming soon is because of somebody's decision to continue making Doom out of spite back in 1997. Doom 2016 is 100% going into the S tier, a very well-deserved spot, and so far my highest ranking. And no, I wouldn't say there's a modern day bias, because obviously from 1997 to 2016, they're going to improve their graphics, mechanics, and perfect that Doomula past perfection at this point. I see all Dooms equally, except I don't, and that's a lie, considering they're all on different spots of this tier list. But I'm looking at all the Dooms from the perspective of someone who isn't a total nutcase when it comes to graphics. At this point, Doom is my life. Doom is my love. And Doom is eternal. Jesus Christ. No, literally, you're probably gonna need that guy after listening to this hellish track. Wow! Funnily enough, I think Doom Eternal is more known for its music rather than its gameplay, as well as it being like Doom 2016's online, optionally multiplayer stuff-filled disguised DLC cousin. It was super hyped up back when it first came out, as it was released alongside Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is currently rotting in a bucket somewhere in Japan because they just don't care anymore. Something I've noticed with the modern Doom games is that they have some very brief funny moments strewn about the game. It's nothing that'll take you out of the immersion of how nonsensically violent Doom is. I just wanted to note that. I think Doom Eternal would have been perfectly fine as the final Doom game, but now that Doom, The Dark Ages is coming out next year in 2025, I've got another game to review some other day. I really hope it's as fun as 2016. Anyways, I'm gonna get the score out of the way real quick before going into the review. Doom Eternal is a considerably high A tier, above Doom 2. Speaking of Doom 2, I do think that it's similar to Doom 2, where it kind of just feels like a continuation of Doom 2016. Although Doom 2 got a higher score than Doom 1, because I feel like it managed to smooth out the rough edges that Doom 1 had. To me, Doom 2016 is literally perfect. You can't rough out any sort of edges. The combat in Doom Eternal is just about the same as Doom 2016, which is not a problem. Sequels should be that way, where it feels like a continuation of the previous. And the glory kills are much, much glorier. They're very cinematic and very quick, and I love how Doom Guy gets creative with his kills as you go on with future enemies. You know, I like it a lot. It's a really good Doom game, yet there's just something wrong with Doom Eternal. Like Doom 3. I can't quite pinpoint it. Maybe I didn't get far enough. I just find Doom 2016 to be the more enjoyable one for some very small and niche reasons, but those small and niche reasons are big and important enough for me to differentiate the fun I'm having in both games. I just can't seem to find myself gushing over Doom Eternal like I did with Doom 2016. Although yeah, it's very important and iconic, as it gave us the song you're listening to right now, The Only Thing They Fear Is You, and it allowed Doom Guy to fully show his badassery through his godlike status as an unstoppable Martian from Earth demon slayer, and really put Doom out there again with popularity. Hell, this Doom Guy is the one that they put in Fortnite, not any of the previous ones. All in all, Doom is a fantastic series. They've really hit the mark on pretty much every game, and really took the title of the solo first-person shooter series. Bravo, Doom. Bravo. Doom Eternal, maybe I'll dig deeper into you later on, but as of right now, you're a very, very good game, just not as good as your predecessor. Like I said before, I know I missed out on some stuff like Final Doom and all that business, but today I ranked every game that God hath bestowed upon me on Steam for 25 blessed dollaroons. Keep in mind, I gave the games about an hour of my time to play with no previously known knowledge or information, and like I stated in the beginning, I have never been a Doom guy before this. I had no interest in any of the games, and starting now, I can officially say that I love the Doom series. Every single game can be considered good in its own way, despite the harsh criticism that some games may get, but I cannot get myself to hate them. They're all fantastic in their own rights, Just some more than others, obviously. Well, I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. It's been a blast making this. Consider joining my Patreon and subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!